Hi there traders, welcome to Elite Currency. My name is Chris and this video is all about the euro dollar and pound dollar. This is the weekly chart and you can see price is breaking through the 38.2 fib. A week ago we were talking about that last week's low will probably be broken, and indeed we got a continuation candle. This particular weekly candle has a close very near the low. That's indicating a lot of bearish strength. So I think that here too, next week we'll see a follow through again to the downside. I think the price could fall towards this 50 fib, just a little bit below 115, which is a psychological round level, of course, as well. So I think more downside is expected on the euro dollar just based on this weekly candle and the momentum that we've had. Look at the HMA. Since it basically turned back down, it's been acting as resistance, and price is now accelerating away from this HMA, and I think that there's no necessarily any moment or support that I think that could stop price right now. I think that it could if it reaches a bigger support level like 115. So you see everything is bearishly aligned. The Fisher transform is indicating bearish momentum. HMA is the candles themselves. So I think more downside is likely for the moment. Now, that said, it is at the long-term moving average, but I think that's just a rough kind of zone where price could stop. Even if it breaks below it and goes to the 50 fib, for instance, that could easily happen with a long-term moving average. All right. Now, there are a ton of candles that are below the 21 EMA on the daily chart, about 24 that have not retraced back to the 21 EMA. So if price finally does retrace back to the 21 EMA, there's a very strong chance that that will be used as resistance. For the moment, I think that we're looking at a bigger bearish wave A, and when that is finished, we might finally see that wave B. Let me show you here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I talked about this also in previous videos, and now we're looking at an A, up for B, and down for C to complete bigger waves 1 and 2, or A and B. All right, so I think we're still in that red A, and that red A could finish at the 50 fib. So looking at the daily chart, I think that this is looking like a wave 1, 2, 3. If it goes back to the 21 EMA, that is likely to be a wave 4, and down it goes for a wave 5. All right, so I think the max retracement that we'll see if we put a fib, for instance, from here to here is around 118, 119. I don't expect a bigger retracement than that if price does move up, and that is also still a big if. So let me take away the weekly fib. There we go. So I think that if price does make a bullish retracement here, it does make a bounce to the upside, and it doesn't have to necessarily, but if it does, price will be contained by these two fibs and the 21 EMA, and down it goes towards that minus 272 target. All right, that's on the menu, let's say, perhaps for this week, is either a retracement, continuation, or an immediate breakout and follow through. If we add the Wiz tool levels to, for instance, this stop right here, and let's take a look for bearish targets, of course. There we go. You can see that level 5 is around that 115 level we just spoke about. So that is something that price could aim for, I think, very soon. Let's go to 4-hour chart. There we go. And we're in a breakout to the downside as we speak. We already had a continuation here towards 117.50. We had a little bit of a consolidation around that 117 level, but eventually price did break below it and continued lower. There we go. And you can see that we had some flags and corrections on the hourly chart as well. At the end of last week, we had, for instance, here a support trend line broken, and then here. So those were good breakouts to the downside if you traded those on the euro dollar. I think for the moment, price is making a lower low as we speak. There is a little bit of divergence on the hourly chart. You can see a little bit of a, at this moment, looking like a little bit like a falling wedge pattern. So that could start a correction. But, you know, it doesn't have to be right now. It depends a little bit whether price will break through this support trend line or not and immediately follow through. We had a lot of momentum in this piece, but here we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown, I think. So that retracement would not be so strange to see price go back. If there is a push below 116.40, I would probably keep an eye on the 1-hour chart. Look for instance, some flag like this, flag, and then trade the break of that flag. So for me, it's pretty clear. Either we get a break, a bearish break, a flag, and continuation, or we get a retracement towards these fibs. These fibs are used then probably as a bouncing spot, and I'll be looking for short setups to the downside towards 115. All right. If it does break, but price does not make a flag, but rather moves up very aggressively, then that could actually be part of a bigger ABC back to these fibs. All right. That's why I need to see a break followed by a flag and followed by a continuation. So I'm bearish on the euro dollar and waiting for potential trades to the downside towards that 50 fib and towards that 115 round level for now. All right, pound dollar pretty much the same. Bearish momentum. HMA is down. Very significant bearish candles along the way. Last week, same thing. Close right near the low, indicating that bulls had full control. Bears had full control. Bulls had no control at all. There's no impact of the bulls at this moment. And I think pound dollar is set to fall down to 132.50, but I wouldn't be surprised if it even makes it to the next round level at 130. All right. Now, looking at the daily chart, we're seeing basically price good momentum. Again, bearish candles. So I think continuation lower is likely. And here too, ton of candles that have not hit the 21 EMA. So yet again, even if price does move up, it is most likely going to be a wave 4. And I'm starting to think that this is more like a wave 1, 2, 3, up for 4, and down it can go for 5. So I think there could be more downside on the pound dollar to be expected. And this was probably a wave 4 within the wave 3, smaller degree of a wave 4. So if price does retrace, just like the euro dollar, I would probably put a fib from here to here. And again, these two fibs could be very strong, and a continuation lower is likely towards the -272 target, maybe even further. All right. If it does break immediately, because we have a lot of bearish momentum in the market at this moment, so we see that price was kind of starting slow here, right? But we had a good break and continue, and starting to pick up speed a little bit. Price did also break below this support trend line. So there's a bit more momentum to the downside at this moment. So if price does break below 132.50, here too, just like the euro dollar basically, break, flag, and continuation looks good for follow through to the downside. If it doesn't, if it hits 132.50 or if it moves up like this and retraces, then once again the 21 EMA I think could be a very strong zone on the daily chart. There we go. And so if price does break above this resistance trend line, there could be an ABC correction, but I do expect a bearish bounce and bearish breakout after price goes back into that zone. All right, so that's my my 2 cents at the moment for the pound dollar. Looking bearish. I think it is probably now a wave 3, and I think we have more momentum remaining for the pound dollar to the downside. Now, both, of course, or all currency pairs actually will have a monthly candle soon finished. That's Thursday is the last day of the month. Friday is the first day of June. So we'll have new monthly candles to analyze. But if it stays anything like this, then next month is likely to be bearish too, I would say, on both the euro dollar and pound dollar. But specifically the pound dollar, specifically the euro dollar, actually, the bullish retracement, I think, is going to be likely eventually. And I think that there is a 5-wave pattern here finished. And I think that this is an A, so a B seems to be likely for the euro dollar especially. And I think that there could be a head and shoulders pattern. For instance, here there's the left shoulder, there's the head. So if price does hit 115, then slowly moves up like that, I wouldn't be surprised to see a head and shoulders pattern like that play out within that bigger ABC correction. All right, more free analysis, of course, at elitecurrency.com. Feel free to check it out. And wish you all good trading. Cheers.